Adem obviously showed a fair bit of pluck in that third quarter, but not the result you wanted at the end.
Yeah, and we just spoke about that. We thought our method and our system was all out of whack in the first half, and it just wasn't the way that we wanted to be. Playing the game, but just we expected a fair bit more from our players, and our leaders spoke about that at half time, and the response was terrific. The third quarter looked like a Richmond game, irrelevant of how many guys we got out. Our young players stood up, and we got repeat entries, and we had opportunities. So, and to be fair, in the last quarter was pretty even as well. So they kicked a few late ones that we started rolling the dice a little bit to try to hit the scoreboard, and that can happen late. But yeah, to our boys' credit, at half time we did respond, which is the main message I spoke to the boys about just before.
You touched on the players you have out. Like, how difficult is it making it going into each week and what you're trying to do? Obviously you want to win, and everyone understands that, but it's a huge volume of star players out. How difficult is it making things and changing what you're trying to achieve?
Yeah, it is, and to be fair, we tried a couple of different things today. We tried Daniel forward and bringing him up to the stoppage to just try something different based on the volume of midfielders we've got out, and we're up against the number one clearance team in the comp, and so we're trying different things based on the fact that we haven't got the personnel. So we're up against Sarong and Brayshaw and Young, and they've ended up with 100 possessions between them, and up against two quality rucks, but we needed to give our midfielders exposure. Like Tyler Sonsi gets an opportunity, Thompson Dow's getting better. There's a silver lining at the end of this, but yeah, it is tough. And to be fair, it's tough on the players. Our leaders, they're getting a little bit frustrated with the scoreboard. But when you look at the names that we've got out and the players we're coming up against, it was just a volume of talent really that they had. But as I said, the response at half time, we really showed that we can match it. We just can't match it with them for 4 quarters.
Tough day for Shai. He's been such a shining light, I think, earlier. Is it just a down day, or is it something he's got to work through that teams will put that bit more work into him?
Yeah, it was, and like I said, I'll take responsibility from that. Like our structure sort of kept him out of it a little bit. He had a licence in the weeks previous that he could just come up and if he felt like he needed to get in the game, he could come up and jump into a stoppage, but our structure didn't allow that today. So in the second half, he did get going. We went back to our old method, and I did like the response he did try to give us, and his leadership in the third quarter was really strong. Like, he could see his intent to change and try to change the game, irrelevant of how bad he was playing or how limited opportunities he had in the first half. So his response in the third quarter was really solid for us, and not only that, like I said, his leadership, the players, they followed him in that third quarter, so I'll be showing him that during the week for sure.
What other positives do you take? You mentioned the third quarter, you mentioned silver linings. What other positives do you take out of a performance like that?
Yeah, well, like I said, our younger players are getting opportunities. So Tom Brown's looking like an AFL player. As I mentioned, Sonsi's come into the game, and he got limited midfield exposure, but he got his hands on the footy. He looks composed when he gets it. McKelty Lafau's looking powerful again, and Morris Rioli's putting a lot of pressure on in our front end. So our younger players, we're giving them opportunity. They have to be the silver lining for us, and as I said, we've come up against a team that is pushing for finals, and they're in really good form without any injuries. So that's the silver lining for us, is just the little wins we're having along the way while we're going through this.
You talked about the structure with Bolton, like he started forward and you had Lafau and Pickett there as well as the deepest forwards, and then you've got Samson, Ryan, Jacob Kajitsky in the VFL. Can you talk us through where those two guys are at, especially with Lynch and Bolter out?
Yeah, well, Samson especially was a discussion this week, so we wanted to go with 2 rucks. They've got 2 quality rucks, so we went that way. We could have gone with Samson as our second ruck. We just feel if we go with another tall, we're a little bit too top heavy. So yeah, that's always going to be our discussion, whether we play taller or smaller in our front end and how many of those we play. But we thought we needed some support around stoppage, and to be fair, like I said, up until the last quarter, I think they'd kicked 1 goal from clearance. So we thought we kind of nullified that, but they just beat us in a different area. The turnover game just smashed us.
I imagine those guys, though, we would have thought this would have been their opportunity, though, with Bolter and obviously Lynch out.
Yeah. Yeah, well, Cozzy, he did get an opportunity. He come in and played a couple of games, and like I said, the stoppage, we played against two really strong stoppage teams, so we just felt like that extra ruckman was going to be more important. So, as I said, Samson's sort of fighting with the same position as Sam Naismith. So, yeah, Sam ended up getting a nod this week, but we might look at that next week, and because he's in good form, he's in good VFL form, which is what we want. And when he gets selected, he'll be ready to play.
I think listening to Noah Bolton on the way in, he said he was almost there today. He must be close. And if you've got any others, who else have you got almost on the cusp?
Yeah. So Noah, he's trained really well. So he's had 2 weeks of solid training. He'll get another one this week, and touch wood, he should throw his hand up for selection next week. And Dion Press is probably most likely the same. So we'll make that decision later in the week with Dion. We've sort of held him back a little bit as well. And there's a possibility that Jack Graham might only have a 1 weeker as well. So there's some players that might be coming back on the horizon, but when they do, we'll obviously welcome them back. But while we're going through it, we expect our young players to keep improving.
How much focus is sort of put on the discipline of not giving away free kicks? I mean, people talk about the art of earning a free kick, and the fans were going absolutely nuts a few times today. How much do you guys sort of focus at training on not giving away free kicks?
Well, we focus on our tackle technique. We train hard, so we'll have a look at that. If it is a technical issue, if it's the same sorts of things, if we're not getting low enough, all those sorts of things we'll work out at training, keep working on it, and work on our craft in that. So, it's not something that we go into a game thinking about. We just need to get better at it.
That last free kick with Jai Amos, Justin Longmuir just expressed concern over the treatment he was receiving, both today and in previous games behind the play. Was he given any extra treatment from your perspective?
Oh, I didn't. As in what free kick?
The one on.
Oh, where they were wrestling off the ball.
Yeah.
No, well, we didn't have a target on him or anything like that, so I'm not sure what was happening. I think it was just two young guys going at it and having a bit of a wrestle.
He was strong on it. I mean, he used the word manhandled.
Like Noel, I think he meant throughout the game as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, our defenders try to limit the access their forwards get at the ball. So if that's manhandling, well, that's the game. We're not going to allow a forward to get a clear run at it. He's a good young player that needs a jump at the footy. So our defenders do try to limit the opportunity that their forwards get to jump at the footy. So if that's manhandling, well, so be it. That's the game.
Third of the way through the season, what's the biggest, aside from the haven't had a clean run at it with injuries, what's the biggest lesson you've learned as senior coach?
Oh, well, in the end, I feel like our system and method stacks up. We've just got to be able to do it for longer. There's patches in games where it looks like our game of footy or our brand of footy. We play front half, we get front half turnovers, we get ample opportunity. We've just got to be able to sustain that for longer. And early in the season, we were doing that. There was, against Carlton and teams like that, there was only minimal lapses where it cost us, where now it's sort of getting a little bit further. Look, it's a whole quarter. Like, we got smashed in the second quarter today, and that's always going to happen when you've got younger players. But I'm looking on the positives on when the game does look like a Richmond game, that we can match it with anyone.
Have you avoided injuries today?
Yeah, well, Jaden Shaw rolled his ankle, but got through the rest of the game, which was a great effort. So hopefully that pulls up okay. But other than him, we're all okay.
Adam, do you still think about finals?
Well, it's a good question. I don't. Whether it's finals or not, I just expect our players to come and compete every week. I want them to feel like they can win every game, and I feel like they do. They come into the game, they feel like they've got an opportunity to win, irrelevant of who we played. And I thought even last week we pushed Melbourne 3 goals down 10 minutes to go against a really a quality opposition, and Freo are exactly that. So we don't talk about the results and our win-loss record. We're just thinking about getting better on Tuesday when our players get back into training, and we'll look forward to the Bulldogs and expect to win that game.
Thanks, Adam.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.